Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King. Of course, we're here at UAC 2018 in Chicago, and I've got the one, the only Nadiya Shah in the house today.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I hope you guys are having fun in the Leo Kingdom. And look at you. Look how much you've done and how far you've come, and it's just so exciting because I remember interviewing you in 2012. And you were amazing at UAC. And I remember at the time you were this reality TV star. And so I was so excited to meet you, and I'd seen you on TV, and now you've just grown and you've done so much, and I'm just really, really proud of you.
I'm just so proud of you because at UAC when we both met, it's so weird, that's where we actually met, but we had seen each other before. And how you've risen too, it's equal, if that makes sense. Like to watch you rise so powerfully. Every time I like have a client or somebody, it's like they always go like, "I love you, but Nadiya Shah, I love her. I'm always watching it every week." It's like I hear Nadiya Shah every day to every week. Like I'm like, yeah, I actually know her too. Oh, you do?
Yeah,
oh
we are friends.
Yeah, we are friends because
I'm super
trust me,
proud
people
of you.
just love you.
Thank you. But you know what? I think it is. I think like you call it your own thing. I call it love and wisdom. But I think that we're both part of putting like the same affirmation in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Like really, that's why there's that similarities. And like lately, or just the other day, we both shared pictures online.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody was like, my two favorites, my two favorites.
I know.
And that was so nice because to me that just says like, you know, I'm not alone in what I'm doing, and that we're both affirming love and wisdom in the world, but you're doing it in your own way, and
so are you,
Yes, we're all doing it in our own way.
What I think is interesting about you and I, though, is I think that confirmation we give people, because we are predictive astrologers with, I mean, not a lot, I mean, there's horoscope astrologers with prediction, but it's like, to be able to just pound it for years on video, that's what we've been doing. And I think you and I get better as every video goes by, right? And we're able to learn from it. And I think what people love is that ability that we're reliable. Like I know you're reliable to me. I'll be like, oh, what's Nadiya got to say this week? You know, bam.
Thank you.
You're there. It's not like, oh, you know, some astrologers in this world, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, sometimes it's spotty or, oh, what happened to them? They're gone or something. It's that reliability and knowing how to be there and knowing how to connect. You do such a great job at that.
The consistency and showing up again and again. And I mean, I think that I just really value my audience. I have this amazing connection and this trust. Like I'm humbled by the trust. And so it's such a privilege for me to show up week after week and to do it. And you know, I've also shared about how the thing I really love about my work is that it's not about me. Like I'm literally able, no matter what I'm going through, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm able to just put it to the side and just focus on being of service to other people. And so that means so much to me. And I know like I've shared a little bit, especially like now I have a whole superstar space, and I've shared with the superstars, not as much like on Facebook Live as much, but like Saturn in Scorpio, Saturn in Sagittarius. That's my moon sign. And that was so hard for me. That was so brutal for me, that whole transit. And yet every single week I showed up. Every single week I was there. And the fact that there was this audience and they were, you know, giving love at a time when I felt you know, really not very strong. You know, I was able to just remember certain principles that I believe very strongly, and I was able to share those principles. Well, it just connected me to something that I believe, like some ideal that even when I felt weak, it was like knowing that and remembering that kept me strong. And it really was my audience that being there week after week that helped me through that time that was challenging. And you know, I always say, and I've really started to realize this recently, especially after that whole Saturn transit was over, that, you know, when I was a teenager, and I just started really talking about this, and I have recently gotten a puppy, and it's been very healing to me in terms of like inner child stuff. But I know that when I was a teenager, I went through a horrible depression, like just awful. And, you know, I know how just getting through a single day was so hard. And so part of my motivation and part of the thing that keeps me going is that I know how when I was feeling like it was so hard to keep going, like one smile from a bus driver you know, one person at a bus stop just being nice to me for a brief moment, that kept me going. Like that really kept me alive for another day. And so I feel like with my videos, the truest intention, like if we really get down to it, the bottom line intention is to be that voice for someone who's having a hard time or who's going through a challenging moment in that day, or even bigger, like a challenging period, a rough transit, to be that voice for them, to be that reminder that there is something loving and wise playing out in their life.
And it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're a comfort, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of what we do as astrologers.
I know, yeah. But I would say that with you and I, that's like our expertise, is the comforting. We're going through it with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I've noticed.
That. Yes.
And it's funny that you bring up Saturn moon, because when I'm a moon late 28-degree Taurus, so when Saturn was in Scorpio and coming into Sag was when I was just like you. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to show up to the video today. I was like literally agoraphobic. I couldn't leave my house. I was like, I could barely survive. And it was like little things where people were like, we're with you. You know, and it was like, I was real too. I was telling people like, I'm going, it's not easy, you know?
Yeah, and that's really brave. And I think it's amazing that you were able to do that in the moment. Like for me, that was hard to do in the moment, but after the transit was over, I was able to say, you know, I had been feeling this. And I was able to actually own it more fully. And it was more about kind of forgetting it. And so that's one other thing I admire about you, is that you were able to name it and own it in the moment and share in real time in the moment what your process was and how you were learning through it. So
Well, I think that's what's so great about you. Now you're doing new things.
I'm doing new things.
Not only, of course, I remember you launched your book in the last couple years, right?
Yes.
And what's that book? Where's it
at?
So
right now, my book is called Astrology Realized, and it's in English and Spanish. And the first part of it you can actually download for free on Amazon. And it's an historical and philosophical overview of astrology and how astrology has been understood throughout history. And the thing is that I wanted to, you know, I have a Sag moon. Look, at the end of the day, I have a Sag moon. I can get philosophical. And so I wanted to share that love of the history and philosophy. And so that's available for free. And then the second part of the book is more like natal chart, introduction to natal chart reading. And I'm working on my second book that I am hoping to have ready for October. That is sort of the date, the tentative date of release, and that will be on the nodes.
Awesome.
Yes, so that'll be like a little bit more technique heavy, but I hope that people enjoy that as well.
And then you're doing a lot of stuff here at UAC. Why don't you tell people like what you're doing now?
Well, I'm doing a lot of stuff here at UAC. It's been amazing. I've been contributing to the best of my ability to part of this event, and I've really been grateful for that, and I just have this deeper appreciation for all the things that go on behind the scenes to a huge event like this. And I'm really proud of the fact that this is the biggest UAC ever. Like, it went way beyond any expectation of what the registration numbers would be. And it's just been an amazing experience. Like, reconnecting with people I know, like you, has been amazing. And then also just feeling like there is this community, you know? Like, you don't feel like an alien. You don't feel like you're all the way out there on your own. Because a lot of times, like for me, I work entirely online. And so for you, what's great is you have an actual like studio. You actually have that. For me, it's like everything is so mobile. You know, so when you watch my videos, you really don't know where I am in the world. I'll tell you where I am, but I'll be in all kinds of places. Again, Sag moon, right? So I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it light and mobile.
Aquarius, by the way.
An Aquarius sun. So I gotta keep it.
The king needs his castle.
Yeah, that's so true, right? Yeah. And so for me, I want to like keep it as light and breezy as possible. And so you never really know where I am, but I'm always working online. And so it can be also isolating. You know, that's the thing. It's a very individual
Well, you're talking
thing.
to a digital device. That's all it is. You know, so.
Well, look, you're accessing an energy, right? And yes, you're talking to a digital device, but then there's also this sense of responsibility. That there are people who are watching us and people who value what we're doing and what we give to the world. And so that means so much to me as well. And so You know, as part of that, when you're in an event like this and you're actually interacting in real time, it means that much more.
Yeah.
You know, to like hug people in real time, to be like, oh my God, to hear somebody say your work means so much to me. Thank you so much. Like, I can't even express how much that is giving back to everything we give. Like, that gives back so much. Just that moment of saying thank you and I appreciate you. It's like, yes, whatever reasons we may have for doing this, at the end of the day, that's really it. To do something good in the world, to give something good to the world.
And how do you feel about the astrology at the moment in the world?
Well, the astrology at the moment in the world, look, it's all about change, right?
Yeah.
It's all about evolution. Right now, we're having this conference with Uranus at 0 degrees of Taurus.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is really powerful as well. Like, it really is this sense of a new beginning.
Yeah.
And what is going to be the future, what the breakthroughs are going to be, is going to go through a massive shift in the coming years.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting to be a part of that in some way, to like be a guide or to interpret the symbols and what it could mean. And I think that there's a sense with this, you know, with Uranus being so, you know, it's like hyper intellectual.
Right.
It's even like beyond the body. It's very much about the ideas, the digital world.
Right.
And then you have Taurus, which is so embodied.
Right.
Which is so about us being present in the moment. And you know, there's this saying or this belief that Buddha was a Taurus. Right? They say that Buddha was a Taurus. And how do we know that? Well, we know his birthday, so we know his chart. But the other part of it is he was so focused on the 5 senses. Like, he talked so much about how important it is to have awareness as a spiritual practice. And so it'll be really interesting to see how and in which ways we start bringing these two together. Like being embodied and having an appreciation of how this moment is really all there is and all that matters. I mean, like I said, for the first time in my life, I have a puppy, I have a dog, right? And this little guy has been in my life for a few weeks, and he's changed my life. Like, really, just to see how this little being only wants to be free. He only wants to breathe and run. And love, yes. And to be respected in his own way and to give respect as well. Like, these things are so essential in life, really. And to realize this, to see this, I mean, I think this is part of the understanding that we are going to have. This sense of being truly present. Now, how is it that we can bring that merger between and living in a time when we're more connected than ever, but actually more disconnected than ever? We're more isolated than we've ever been from others, even though on a digital level we're more connected than ever. So how do we bring that together? I think that's going to be part of the exploration and the questions that are going to be coming up in the years ahead.
Great, yeah, I love the way that you bring all that stuff up. I mean, and what's interesting to me is this Pluto-Saturn next year coming, and there's so many things. That's what's crazy, is I feel like energy is starting to peak and peak and peak, and humanity is now coming to this like really crazy cross point right now. And we're starting to feel it with Uranus and Taurus and Saturn and Pluto coming, with Jupiter, by the way, that'll come back at the end of the next year and really join those two. I mean, and then Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. I mean, there's so much. It's getting, you know, when, especially because I'm sure you know, you do astrology horoscopes like all the time, like me on YouTube and everywhere, right? It's like some weeks you're just like, well, it's gonna be another, there's a lot going on, right? It's not like, it's like, you know, some people might think, oh, it's always gonna be like saying there's a lot going on. Well, there is.
And you know what, you say there's a lot going on, and I say, what an amazing week it is, right? That's how I start every week and every forecast. Because in a sense, it can be amazing. And then you have these really big things happening, as you said, these energies. And, you know, so I've just really been thinking about and considering all the different ways that I can be part of bringing a sense of hope and love and transformation. Because this energy that you're talking about, the Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter joining in, it's intense. At the end of the day, it's intense. At least one area of life for everybody out there is going to go through a massive transformation. And is going to go through a rebirth that feels serious. And the one thing I've really come to understand is the more you try to hold on, the more painful you make it for yourself. The more you surrender and trust the universe to take you where you need to go, the easier it is, the more it flows, and the more really rewarding it is as well. However, I don't want to, you know, I'm saying rewarding and Saturn and Pluto in the same sentence. and I want to be mindful that this can be a very intense time for a lot of people. And so I'm still sitting with and trying to figure out, what can I offer? What can I do? How can I be part of love and wisdom and hope and healthy transformation in the world? And so there are different things, of course, that we keep doing and ways in which we keep growing. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to explore that, to see what can I do, what events can I put on, where can I present those events in the different spaces. Like, I know I'll be doing online events, I know I'm doing a cruise event, I know I'll be doing like conference events. And this is ultimately all part of affirming that it's going to be all right, as you said, it's going to be all right. And to do that with more determination, and to do that with more commitment. I think that that's part of what this is about.
That already.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, everybody already knows that. That's why everybody watches you.
Thank you so much.
So you're just reaffirming what you already do.
You're amazing.
Of course, we can always be greater, and I think that's what's great to watch is from being friends with you from 2012 to now. And I remember you and I were just in the game, like, you know, but people were like, well, you two are the people we see on YouTube, because, you know, a lot of astrologers actually go on YouTube and do it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of astrologers.
We've been doing it 6 years now, but
I've been doing it 10 years, I tell you. And I remember in 2012 running around and interviewing people, right? Like I was just, you were one of the people, and I just got to talk to all the people that I love and admire. And so, yeah, as I said, I watched you on TV. And on the reality show.
Yeah, because I was doing it on TV first.
Yeah, and you were like in front of everybody, and you were actually showing how astrologers think.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and I really loved that, and I really I added you on Facebook because of that, seeing you on that reality TV. And so now it's really exciting to see how both of us have continued to grow and evolve.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is very cool, right?
And
it's
especially because, you know, nobody was there, but you and I just at UAC New Orleans, just these kind of like fresh puppies, like your puppy.
Totally, right? I know. Just like he's
you know what I mean? You know, and
everything was a revelation.
Now it's like we're not like old dogs yet, but you know, it's like we're a little bit more seasoned now, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see where you go till the next one.
Oh my God, as it is me watching you.
I think it would be, I know a lot of the YouTube fans out there, I think one day all the big YouTube astrologers got to get together and do a little thing,
that would be a great idea.
It would be insane.
Yeah, like maybe do like a Comic-Con, but specifically for like video astrologers and new media astrologers. Like to do a jam-packed weekend where all of us are together. That would be an amazing photo.
It would be an amazing event. But it would be just mind-blowing, I think. So, well, we'll see what people say in comments on YouTube and stuff, if they like it or not.
If you guys
don't want it, then we won't do it.
But you know what? No matter what, we'll just keep doing our thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's always there.
And I'm sure I'll just keep seeing you again and again, as we have been over the years. And it's just amazing to keep growing with you. You know, like I said, to be part of this energy in the world and affirming love and wisdom and what's good and just
that's the main thing.
Yeah, I think you call it higher consciousness, right?
Illuminating the collective consciousness.
Illuminating the collective consciousness. That's what David's doing. For me, it's about affirming love and wisdom in the world, but it's the same thing.
Same thing,
It's the same thing,
And letting people know it's going to be okay.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah,
you know, that's the thing, it really is. We are going to be here, we're going to thrive. And what I mean by we, I mean all of us.
Yes.
All of us.
All of us.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows where to find you, I'm sure, but it's NadiyaShah.com. And then, of course, follow her on YouTube, Nadiya Shah. She's on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Nadiya_Shah. Now, I have a bunch of Instagrams, and I don't know how I ended up with them. So there's a lot of Nadiya Shahs, and they're all me, but the only account I'm really accessing
is the _ one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Aquarius Sun, right?
Right. And of course, you can follow her on Facebook. We've tagged that up on this video if you're watching Facebook Live or if you're on YouTube. Pretty easy to find your Facebook. I think it's on your it's on your YouTube page too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I love you, Nadiya. Thank you so much for coming on, and
I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so proud of you.
Just keep doing what you're doing and just keep shining because you really are. Yeah.
Well, I know that we come from the same space. Maybe we're from the same frequency of how we transmute what we do.
Yeah, and you know what? I totally get that.
Yeah.
Like my way of saying it, we've sort of aligned with a previous life, and we're bringing that forward and evolving that forward in this
We
life.
were at some same
Atlantis
mystery
or something.
school or
yes.
some, I don't know. You know what I mean? There was something going on that we come from the same channel.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, with David, we keep finding our way to each other.
Yeah, I know.
We keep connecting every few years.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
crazy.
It definitely feels like this happens in a way that doesn't happen with other YouTube astrologers that I know. And so I think that absolutely there is something resonating with the two of us. Yeah.
Well, I love you, and thank you again.
We're sending you, everybody, so much love.
Yep.
And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you and for this moment with your audience and sharing it with your audience. So grateful for that.
It's the same audience as yours.
I know, right?
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.